I'm going to bring everyone back up in a minute. But if I see someone, like someone who actually looks like a hush of our yid with the Borsalino, blah, 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 I have to give him the floor. Good luck, Rabbi Yid.
How are you doing? I'm sorry, my name is Abraham Sofer. What's your name?
Usher Meza.
Usher. We have a concept of Shelo Lishma Ba Lishma. I hear your ta'ana that maybe they're not clean and maybe it should be taken into consideration, but maybe not. The primary reason is and I'm not Lubavitch, but I love what Lubavitch do many times. I don't love what Lubavitch do. I shoot straight, what it is. But I would never think for a second that them putting on tefillin and somehow the restriction, or more than just the restriction, to fulfill the mitzvah properly, right? As the Gemara says, if you take a look at the Masechta Brachot, in the Halacha is paskin, if somebody is more than 72 minutes waiting, delaying going to the bathroom, and he prays, so there's a big machloket. Is his prayer considered a prayer or not? So the Chachamim established that yes, it could be still a prayer, but it could be done through a prayer with some impurities, but it's still a prayer.
Well, so one is the actual halacha, and the other one is like midat hasidut. The idea that doing something lishma, like stam, like for the sake that it might lead you to do more mitzvot in the future, I accept that 100%, but that doesn't in any way contradict the actual halacha, that in order for you to properly keep mitzvot, you have to be mekabel mitzvot.
Good.
Okay.
No, Rav Asher, I'm asking with you, but the question is now, we have to kick in other instances. If I'm going to tell a Jew, by the way, I would love for you to fulfill the mitzvah according to halacha to the fullest, but make sure that let me take you to the bathroom, let me make sure you're clean 100%. That would actually prevent him from fulfilling the mitzvah. So that would actually be something that's not in the positive aspect, and therefore I would actually bypass that. Yes, you're right. Lechatchila, there is lechatchila, and there is whatever the level is.
The reason I disagree with this, in such an instance, there's no actual chovah for him. If you're not in a position, let's say, to daven, like you're inebriated, you're about to get married, there is no obligation for you to fulfill the mitzvah if you're not capable of fulfilling that mitzvah. Guf naki doesn't only mean mamish basav adam, it also means your neshama, it means your mind, right?
It's true. It's true, the element, but you just said something. It's like you're talking that we know vade that his guf is not naki. If we know vade that his guf is not naki, you're correct. But in Safek, I'm gonna first of all maybe even chas v'shalom dissuade this person, or because of my chashash. Look at the hilchot dmai, look at the hilchot amaratzim. You're eating in the amaratz's house. There's a lot of ways that the halacha, even though you're right, you, for instance, Rav Asher at home, you would act in a certain way. But can I expect other individuals to act in that manner, or can I even impose on them? Listen, the matter is right now, is there a certain level of holiness that being imputed in this person who is totally disconnected, puts on tefillin in the morning with the Lubavitch guy who told him, even lied to him, like you said. I agree, it's not a nice thing. He tells him it's a blood pressure. Whatever it is, he has zero connection to Yadut, zero. And maybe even it's like it's diminishing some honor of the Yadut, because, like you said, I agree. I could agree with that. But the element of we have such a concept is that if a Jew, let's say I walk in the street over here, for instance, and a guy is mechalel Shabbat in my neighborhood, turns on the car, he's in a car, and I tell him Shabbat Shalom. Yes, some will tell me, Rabbi, my leadership friends told me, why would you tell him Shabbat Shalom? Why is it Shabbat Shalom is law? What are you talking about? He's mechalel Shabbat right in front of you, Rabbi. No, but I want him to answer that. I want him to say, and most of them, 99.999%, answer me Shabbat Shalom. By mere him saying Shabbat Shalom, there is some holiness, because Shabbat is Hashem's name and Shalom is Hashem's name. There is some holiness that goes in, and one day maybe his children will be coming back to us. And that's what we're concentrating on.
I know the argument, but one, I think it's a form of lifnei iver, and I'll tell you why. The issue is not with the shaliach telling him to put on tefillin. The actual isser is with him putting it on. right? Because it's up to him to have a gufnaki. It's similar to in McDonald's, let's say, like McDonald's has kosher coffee. Why do we say that it's more sign for someone to go into McDonald's and eat kosher coffee? Because someone's going to assume that McDonald's suddenly has a proper hashkacha. When you see an unaffiliated Jewish person who could be Bernie Madoff, could be the son of Sam, putting on tefillin, people are going to think that kosher Jews behave like that person. Why? Because we see tefillin on his body. So apart from halacha, which the halacha is not allowed 100%, and I'm for putting tefillin on all day long, like Bachram from like Zilberman Yeshiva, okay, 100%. However, whenever they have to go to the bathroom, whenever they have a bad thought, they'll take it off. Okay, so yes, I understand what you're saying, but overall, it hurts the Jewish people. But the Rambam writes in Mor Nevuchim that we shouldn't keep mitzvot like we're chopping wood. And he makes a distinction between people who keep mitzvot and know what they're actually doing and people who go through the motions and they think that actually by going through the motions is in some way benefiting the Jewish people. I'm not saying that it's wrong for Chabadniks to do it halachically. It's wrong for the person to put it on, not even knowing what they're doing, right? That's for sure 100% leaf neighbor. That means they're not telling the person, or have good thoughts, like as you're repeating the bracha as I'm selling it to you, they're just telling them to do it. Like for those who don't know what leaf neighbor is putting a stumbling block before a person. They're causing actually that person to sin, and it's a sin bigger than not putting tefillin on. Why? Because there's no actual chovah to put on tefillin if you're not able to put on tefillin, right? I mean, a woman has no issue with putting on tefillin because she's not obligated. I mean, it's time bound and it's a positive mitzvah. So this is the argument. It's not that it's completely usher, but it's problematic in the long run.
But Rav Asher, with all due respect, we can't put everybody in the bucket that they are truth. We can't say, like we said, what I'm hearing from you is like you're saying you're taking a safek and making it to vadai. There is no vadai here that he's not naki. There is no vadaud here. Remember, let's play out a scenario. Just last week there was a video roaming around all over TikTok that the Lubavitcher Rov came to Mayans. And the wife of a Mayan leader happens to be a Jewish Israeli girl who now has two sons, 17 and 14, and now they put on tefillin. We understand that there is that we cannot, first of all, put everybody in the bracket of vadai, that they're vadai not clean, that they're vadai not, that it's a bizayon. Could be that there could be some of an elevation to, let's say, many people who are totally, let's say, 70-year-old. The last time he put on tefillin was 57 years old, and now all of a sudden the Lubavitcher guy puts on tefillin on him, and he has some kind of reminiscence, and maybe that will bring him to that brink. That's what I'm just saying, that we cannot put a suffix as a vadai. And Rav Asher, what you're speaking so far is that you're making a comparison. Yes, son of Sam is a vadai. McDonald's is a vadai. We're not even coming close of a shaila of maybe I'm
Jewish, by the way. I mean, he's Jewish.
Yeah, it could be, but he's a vadai criminal. We can't say a vadai. We can't bring me examples of a vadai to something which is a suffix, and maybe it's a suffix. And I'm just telling you that it could be that there is a leniency, like we said, that if we have a vadai, a person is holding 72 minutes and he is mitpalel, there is a tzad to say that he's yotze tefillah. It could be, but tiflut. It could be that it was done in the most lowest level, but it's some level. That's the nekuda here.
I agree.
But what bothers me a little bit, that's why I got on the line, is that we are, for some reason, Rav Asher, somehow you got to somehow take a suffix and to make it into vadai, and your entire argument as a premise is a vadai. Okay. Because you're right, vadai, I would agree with you. But since we're in suffix, I think you should agree with me and agree with the Lubavitcher Rabbi. And what
I'm not saying that your premise is wrong. I'm saying that we should at least ask them the question. What do you believe in? You keep mitzvot, this and that. I'm not against people putting on tefillin.
No, but it's too personal.
Not knowing anything. You know why? All right. So there's many reasons, like for the Churban, like for the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. One reason that's never spoken about is Chanufa. So Chanufa, depends how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's a second Beit HaMikdash. Yes, that's right. Barzu Bar Kamsa. That was the Hanifa. The whole scenario was Hanifa.
So it's flattery.
Yes.
To go up to someone and not even, like to be dan lechavschut on someone that you don't even know, like on an actual mitzvah that could harm him. Okay, is you flattering someone, right? Like who you clearly, because most Lubavitchers goes up where they go up to people who don't look religious. Okay, and they're going to put on tefillin and saying it's up to him if that person is firm enough or equipped enough to put on tefillin, but I'm going to in some way flatter him. You know, like Benoni, Tzaddik, check your Jewish blood pressure. You don't know who this person is. Ask them, do you keep mitzvot? You can't properly keep mitzvot unless you're first mekabel mitzvot. Okay, that's the halacha. And sometimes if they try to keep the mitzvah without properly accepting the mitzvot first, you actually hurt that person. And this is what the Rabbi doesn't understand.
I'm sorry, Rabbi. What do you hold of a 4-year-old saying a bracha?
Oh, on the same level as a woman saying a bracha.
One more time. But you allow your 4-year-old son to make a bracha?
Oh, for sure.
With your logic just now, it's asur.
No, safek bracha lakula.
No, there's not safek. It's a vada that he has zero idea who is blessing.
Oh, he's not chayav. It's not the same.
A 4-year-old boy whose the halacha has zero chiyuv. He has zero understanding what Hashem means, zero understanding what blessing means bichlal. He only hears you saying a blessing. That's all. A 5-year-old, even sometimes 6-year-olds, they have zero understanding. But yet we have a chovah, we have an obligation. So in the same scenario, the Chachamim teach us that, let's say there's a big shayla, do I have to honor my father, who is totally against Torah? So today we have zero problem with that because we must honor our fathers who even have total feeling against Torah. Why we must honor them? As the Chachamim teaches, they're totally tinok shenishba. Tinok shenishba does not mean only a scenario where you grew up completely where there is, even if you grew up in the heart of Borough Park, you could still have the concept of tinok shenishba.
Only according to the Chazon Ish. Only according to
but that's the reality.
The person to say that every secular Jew nowadays has a status of a tinok shenishba. The Rambam doesn't bring it.
Bevadai, le'alacha, that will be paskin.
No, the Rambam in Hilchos Mamrim there
exposed to Torah is tinok shenishba. And more than that, even if they're negatively exposed to Torah, it's because what they're seeing from their parents, it's because what they're being influence of peers makes it also tinok shenishba. Tinok shenishba is a very wide area.
So what standard are you talking about? The Rambam doesn't bring it down like that.
Again, but again, the standard is very simple. Is the 25, is a 50-year-old, is a 70-year-old who has never heard and proper or has never felt what Shabbos is properly, is he in a gather Hagdara of a 4-year-old? For sure. He never experienced it. If you agree that a 5-year-old, you could tell him to make a bracha because it's mitam chinuch. So come to Lubavitch and say mitam chinuch. You're right. Gather Hagdara of a 4-year-old? For sure. He never experienced it. If you agree that a 5-year-old, you could tell him to make a bracha because it's mitam chinuch. So come to Lubavitch and say mitam chinuch. You're right. They're clean. Maybe they're not clean. Maybe there is all those shaylas, but it's a maybe. Let's not make a maybe a vada. That's the issue here.
Okay, so in terms of the idea of a tinok shenishba, which is in the third parak of Hilchos Mamrim of the Rambam, he doesn't bring it down like this. It was in the 1950s that the Chazon Ish said, all the chilunim in Eretz Yisrael, they have the status like of tinok shenishba. This idea never even appeared. But in the Rambam, it specifically says that a tinok shenishba is still chayav misa. The difference is that you don't run to unalive him; you walk to do it. So even if you claim to be a tinok shenishba, that's not an actual din.
Well, I don't know what Rambam you're quoting. I know Rambam that says if somebody was over on three surim, and because he was kafu, we don't unalive him. We don't punish him at all. If somebody was forced to sleep with his mother, if somebody was forced to sleep with his mother, we don't unalive him. The Beit Din has no right to unalive him.
The third parak of Hilchos Rambam talks about cases where you can unalive people without a Beis Din, without Adam. And one example it gives is the idea of a tinok shenishba.
I apologize, Rabbi. I had a phone call coming in. The last 30 seconds I didn't hear.
Yeah. The Rambam in the third parak of Hilchos Mamrim, he talks about people you can unalive without a Beis Din, without Adam, right? And he says it's a mitzvah to do it. And then he brings out his idea of a tinok shenishba, that one girsa says that it's Karaites, another girsa just limits it to denying Tersh B'Peh and Tersh B'Ktav, but at the end he says they all are liable to the death penalty. The difference with the tinok shenishba is that we walk to unalive him, we don't run to unalive him. So
one second. I'm sorry. An individual who is warned to be chayav misa is only on that one condition, that he is warned not to perform an act.
No, that's according to the base.
One second. Let's make it clear. Since you went that far, we'll go clearly, make it more clear that if an individual is warned by two witnesses not to perform an act, and the warning has to be specific to a detail of the detail.
It's only according to the Beis Din. That's the Rambam in Hilchos Mamrim, in the third parak of Hilchos Mamrim. Look it up. That sugya says that there's an instance that you don't need a Beis Din and you don't need Adam. That means you don't need Hasra to unalive people. That with specific people, and he gives example of Karaites, people who don't believe in Torah Shabbat Peh, like who don't believe that Torah Shabbat is from God, that these people, he labels them as a Tinok Shnishba, that we're compassionate with people who have the status of kidnapped children, but they still have to be unalived. You just walk to do it. You don't run to do it. I know it's different. What?
For what act do you want to unalive them?
Like for being kofrim.
For being kofrim without witnesses?
Correct.
Perek Gimel? Rambam, this Rambam.
Let's check it out.
Against Kol Torah Kula. Without witnesses and without atra'ah and without proper atra'ah, there is no unaliving anybody.
All right. Let's bet $1. Like any
why $1? It's make it something nice. If you find me such a Rambam that says you could unalive people without a Beis Din,
$100.
Give a donation to $100 to Lubavitch, and if you're correct, I'll give $100 donation
to your favorite Amuta. But
no, I'll give it to Lubavitch. We're discussing Lubavitch here. Let's go. Perek Gimel, which is Chelik?
Mamrim. Halacha bet.
Let's Lashon, please.
No, read it. Go for it.
No, I don't have it in front of me. That says you could unalive individuals.
100%. I don't understand it either.
But it's without hatra and without the Beis Din.
Right. Right. I mean,
no, I understand that. I remember that learning it. It's talking about where you don't have to save a person who is
okay. All right. So take my word for it. Anyways,
I can't take your word for it because you tell me something.
Where do you live?
Against Torah Kula.
No, I know.
I live in Hollywood, Florida.
Here, you have Svarim behind you. I'm pretty sure.
No, not have.
Okay. All right.
Just one second, Mikey. No, I thought somebody was downstairs. Sorry.
Where do you live?
Hollywood, Florida.
Me too.
I'm in Maple Ridge community.
I'm in Maple Ridge.
Where are you in Maple Ridge?
Like I'm in the second entrance off of Griffin. I'm in the side of the Sephardi shul. Like down that road of the Sephardi shul.
I'm in the shul right now. You want to go upstairs to learn? Let's go.
Because I daven by Rabbi Wax, like who's actually Lubavitch, by the way. But I'm a member at the Young Israel.
How you go to Young Israel and Shabbat from here? Wow.
No. I'm a member of the Young Israel, but I daven by Rabbi Wax, which is the Lubavitch here on Griffin. I'm good friends with Rabbi Frankel.
Rabbi Chaim Frankel, he's on 52nd Street. Okay,
yeah, he's right here. He used to be like across the street from me. I don't know, like if he just moved. So we're literally 200 yards from each other. Mom.
Good. So come downstairs. Show me the Rambam, please. I would love to see this.
Look it up in there. They have Mishneh Torah, 100%.
Okay.
All right. Well, so you just moved here then?
I live here already 2.5 years. I teach away. I give. We have over 30 classes here a week in this room.
I used to daven by Rabbi Marmelstein, but they closed down the show over there by the Domino's.
No, he moved to the Deutsche Hotel.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, the minyan is there every Shabbat.
Oh, interesting. All right.
You could walk there. We have the opening.
I go to Chabad because my son's in LEC. So that's the only reason. So that gives me credibility. I daven by Lubavitch, and I still have.
Rabbi Wax. Which shul is that? I know Rabbi Shmaya.
Right, Shemaiah Wax.
L'chaim Farms. What?
The Rabbi Shemaiah, like his last name is Wax.
Oh, he is Rabbi Wax. I didn't know that. Okay, I know him on the first name. Okay, we're on first term basis. I go there all the time for his siyum, for Rambam almost. All right. Let's end it off here. You're holding that Rambam tells you that. I'm saying totally it's against the whole Torah that we are the premise of the entire Torah. You must always give a warning, and only on the day warning that the act of unaliving take place.
Yeah, no, there's a story of Rabbi Yochanan Wasserman, like during the Shoah, how he unalived someone in the mikveh. And like in terms of like Masira, like in terms of there's certain instances where you don't.
That's right. Masira, no, it's not unaliving him. It's not allowing him to go up from the water. That's a different story. The Askama, everybody agrees you're not allowed to put him down under the water. Right. But once he's down under the water, they put a block, they structured with their hands a blockage, so he doesn't go up. That's not unaliving.
100%.
Everybody's there where we have a din of Moser, and again, even then, all of them were punished, by the way, because they had enjoyment in doing it. If you take a look at the whole story, because they had an enjoyment, they were punished in the end. But again, we were discussing today. We had again, what I'm seeing with you, Rabbi Sharabasha, don't get upset with me, is like there's a trend. You're putting a vadai, a safek into vadai, and maybe that should be corrected. And I'm going to end over here. Have a wonderful day. Hope to meet you, sit with you, learn with you one-on-one, not over the phone.
Rabbi. Yashikoach. This is a great rabbi, Asher.
You know him?
I know him when he came down from New York. He was one of the only rabbis that gave over these letters to give exemption. Besides yourself and myself, he was one of the rabbis that was very pro giving the letters of exemption to take the shot. And that's